So welcome to the Business Women Australia webinar, Think and Grow Rich. This is an online course launch with our fabulous Helen Nan. And before I continue, I'd just like to acknowledge this sacred and sovereign Indigenous lands in which we're meeting all around the nation today. We have women from executive, entrepreneurial women, professional women joining us online with Helen. And I'd like to celebrate Indigenous elders past, present and emerging, and recognise that this is the land of First Nations people, and they've cared and danced and celebrated on this land for 60 to 120,000 years. I'm actually streaming in from Bulu, from Perth, and this is the home of the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation. I'm Lyn Hawkins. I'm the National Director and the founder of Business Women Australia. And we're celebrating this year 10 years since we first started Business Women Australia as a national collective. We set out with the intention to really bring together women from all sorts of different backgrounds, different cultures, different professions and expertise, and to support each other to be successful in our hopes and dreams, to close that gender gap, and to raise the visibility of women, our voices, our faces, and our achievements. We believe that through that visibility that we show that female leadership is strong and thriving, and that it encourages so many other women to actually step up and be their best versions of themselves. We're all about business improvement and personal growth. One of the big things that people love about Business Women Australia is we celebrate the lessons we're learning and the stuff-ups that we're doing along the way. And we're not perfect, and we actually hold on to that because that's the courage that we all share in having a crack, having a go at doing things, and then sharing that. All those lessons in the community are really what we learn by, and we can collaborate together, we co-create, and remain as best we can as optimistic as we can in light of the challenges that we're all facing. It's so good to have you here. I'm really pleased to see some new faces come on board for this fantastic launch. Helen's been an incredible leader in our community for numerous years now. She's certainly guided and helped me with my own journey as a wealth creator, and I've really loved learning from her. There's so many benefits about joining and being a part of this community of female leaders, and there's lots of ways you can get involved. Different levels. You don't have to be a member to join as a guest to most of our events, but we love you to become a part of our community and get really involved. So if you've got any questions about membership, please do reach out to me. We can have a chat. I've got a scheduler. And I'd love to hear about your goals and dreams and what you're looking to achieve, and see how we can support you in that. We've got some awesome podcasts coming up. And if you want to catch up on any of our podcasts, head to YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, the BWA website. We're on any of your favourite platforms, and we've got a range of amazing subjects that we delve into with our leaders in the community. Coming up on the 19th of February, building a personal brand using video content. Alicia Lansdowne's joining me on that podcast. And then on the 21st of March, I've got our fabulous interior designers from SK Design, Sarah and Heidi Knox, who are going to share their insights around the good, the bad and the glamorous of running an interior design business. I've recently used them myself. We bought a luxury Airbnb down on the canals in Mandurah, and they did an amazing job. I know I tell them I'm the queen of boho. I'm really good at picking up a verge side piece and painting it, making it look unreal. And we just couldn't do that style for the luxury Airbnb we bought. And they turned it into this extraordinary, amazing luxury resort kind of coastal retreat. And we love it so much we actually want to move down there. So I'm in the process of packing up my house here in North Perth. It's so gorgeous. Anyway, events coming up. We've got another online masterclass on the 11th of Feb. We've got the fabulous Kirsten Baus. She's a psych. She supports psychologists and health professionals to understand the challenges and the strategies of being a woman, particularly with ADHD, and how to look at supporting and bringing out the best for neurodiverse teams. And that's an online masterclass. We've had a lot of interest in that as well. We've also got a business development mastermind that's I've developed. Everyone's been asking me for years to develop a course or a mastermind group that focuses purely on business development. It's one of the key things that I think bring women to Business Women Australia. And so I finally designed one, and we're kicking that off on the 12th of February. That's available to all our members. If you are thinking of joining and you're interested in that, it's a great time to join Business Women Australia. The non-member price it's probably better to join as a member and tap in. So the 13th of February in Perth, we've got Cheryl Vodge and Tracy Payritz. They're actually doing a building business and connect. Cheryl's a trademark lawyer. She's an IP lawyer, and she's going to share her insights into protecting your most valuable assets. And Stacey Payritz is she's an accountant, and she's going to help give us some ideas around the best structures to protect your assets as well. So that's also going to be great networking for everyone in Perth. And we have on the 20th of February an online mastermind with Kerry Nobes. Kerry is a master at facilitating team development and understanding self and understanding teams. She's a practitioner across HBDI and DISC, all those sorts of ways of understanding better how to work people and communicate with people that are different than you and your team. And she's doing a mastermind on building trust and optimism on the 20th of Feb. And that's on the back of an amazing podcast that we did just a couple of weeks ago. So if you want to catch up and listen to her podcast, please do, and join us for that online mastermind. If you're in a team, or you're leading a team, or you're on a board, or if you're in a community group, these sorts of skill sets are wonderful. In Brisbane, Conversations and Connections Back to Business at the Jubilee Hotel. Helen Nan, our lovely Helen here, and another leader in Brisbane, Tracy Cooper, are hosting that event. We've already got about 20 fantastic ladies attending that, and we've got a room for a few more. We don't like to make our events too big because we want everyone to meet each other. But if you're in Brisbane and you're tuning into this, come along. On the 13th of March, we're back online with a roundtable cracking open what it means to be a CEO. Kate Biondo is one of our leaders in the community, and she refuses to use the title CEO, and I'm really intrigued by that. So we're having a roundtable discussion on breaking stereotypes around those kind of leadership roles. And on the 18th of March in Perth, this one is a tax strategy for success, a mastermind with Stacey Payritz, where we're going to dig down deep into understanding tax strategies from a business and a personal wealth point of view. So if you're thinking, why isn't there something in Sydney? There is something coming up. We are planning an event probably hosted at Servecorp. We just had a wonderful event in Melbourne in Servecorp, and we're still mapping out this year's events. We're always looking for hosts. And we're always looking for fantastic venues, particularly those that are run by women, even if it's for a long lunch or a wine tasting or what have you at a venue that you love and that you know would be great to support another woman in business. So reach out to me if you've got those ideas. And we've got our retreat this year. We've had quite a few ladies book in already. We've booked out the whole of the Blue Karma Resort. So 20 women will be joining us for the 7th to the 10th of August this year, and we would love you to come along. We're going to have a lot of workshops, a lot of work on understanding ourselves as leaders and understanding others, so that we're really equipped to excel in our roles as leaders. And of course, we don't view leadership just as a title, it's a mindset. So you don't have to be in the C-suite. You might be aspiring to be a leader, or you're leading in a cause. We'd love you to join us at that retreat. And of course, if you're looking for an EAP designed particularly for supporting women, this employee assistance program we offer in conjunction with Pink Health. The wonderful Julie Fox is a leader in our community, and she has a team of clinical psychologists who are all women and who are all online and are providing amazing support for those organisations who have a lot of female employees. So if that sounds like something your organisation or an organisation that you know of would get value from, please introduce us, and we'd love to talk to them about providing those services for their women. Follow and connect with us across all your favourite social media. And we thank our sponsors, of course, LG Accounting Solutions. Stacey Payritz and her team are incredible with the bookkeeping and accounting that they do for us. COH Digital look after our website. Intact Teams is run by the wonderful Jessica Schubert, who guides and mentors us through our leadership development programming. And also we offer disc flow accreditation through Jessica's business. My Vida is a wonderful organisation run by Vida Carlino in WA, and they provide us with space. It's our home here in Perth. 3 Drops, our favourite wine from the Great Southern. If you're looking for 3 Drops wine, you can buy them online. Reach out to Joanne Bradbury, and I'm sure she will offer you a special deal, maybe free delivery direct from the cellar door. Of course, Pink Health, and last but not least, Fire Up Coaching. Quite a few of us have done our accredited coaching, that's ICF accredited pathway through Fire Up there on the Sunshine Coast, owned and run by Kathy McKenzie. They're a wonderful group. If you're thinking about getting a coaching accreditation to be a better leader, to be a better human generally, or as a coaching career, then I highly recommend you reach out to have a chat to me about how I experienced that cert for and the diploma, and I'll introduce you to Kathy. So that's my bit. Without further ado, I'm going to hand over to the wonderful Helen Nan. Now, Helen is a certified financial planner. She's been with Business Women Australia as a leader for many years, but she's also assisted so many clients in assessing their lifestyle goals and aspirations and helping tailor them for their wealth creation strategies. She's been featured in reputable publications like the AFR, Money Magazine, and Inside Network. She's the author of Your Best Life and the founder of Compound Freedom. She's multilingual, and she is one of the most generous-spirited women I know. So what an exciting day to have you launch your course, Helen. We're going to get lots of tips along the way as well. So we're going to leave today with some takeaways we can start implementing straight away, right?
Yeah, I hope so, yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank you for introduction, Lyn. And today I'd like to share my knowledge and also information I learned in the last 14 years, not just as an advisor and also as an investor. So if I have known what I know today, I would have saved lots of money I lost in the investment markets. So I'd like to share the presentation slides. Can you see the screen?
No, that screen's not coming through. It did work when you originally tested it, but we're not seeing a screen right now.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Excellent. Yes, we can see it. Helen, you stop sharing. And you're on mute. While Helen's just getting her screen up, let's have a chat. And Petreka, tell us a little bit about why you joined the board.
You threw me there. I thought you were going to say why I joined the course today. Actually.
I'm interested in why you joined the board. Welcome. It's great having a couple of board members here. You're on mute though.
Okay, sorry, there's 4 of us in the boardroom, so I'm on
okay.
at the moment. I just don't want to get the sound kickback. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Well, why did I join the board? Well, firstly, it's as you know, I've been a member of BWA now for 2 years, and I found great value in just attending some of these online workshops, as well as just a lot of the in-person coffee and chats or lunches that we've had. I've been now in my career for 35 years and sort of wanted to be able to use my experience, knowledge, to sort of give back to women, and just found that the members of BWA were very much felt like my tribe, and an opportunity to really help. I work with you, and work with the other board members, but to really, take BWA in a really positive future sort of, I don't know, like there's just so much we can do, and there's so much for a need to have an organisation like this within Australia and as well as globally. So just be able to have a chance to give back really meant a lot to me.
Oh, thanks, Anne. And it's wonderful having you. And of course, we've got Sharon here on the call that are part of the board. Other ladies, please pop in the chat box a little bit about who you are and why you joined today for the course. That would be really great, little introduction. The other little tip I'd love to give you is that you can name yourself. You can see that I've named myself Lyn Hawkins, Businesswomen Australia. You can name yourself by going to the little dots on your own picture, or down to the little dots, and rename yourself when you get the chance, because it's really great for us to see, you know, if you are representing a business, it's great to see that what that business is. Thanks, Michelle. That was very quick. Anne's done that too. Over to you, Helen.
Okay, thank you so much. And today I want to talk about how to build wealth and as a beginner and become successful in the investment markets. So all the information I'm going to share today is general advice only, without considering your personal circumstances. So if you need a more personalized advice, please come to see me after the webinar. So what we're going to cover today, so save first and then invest. So lots of people have problem of saving. So putting money aside is the first step. And I want to understand the risk of each investment options and how to choose wisely, and how to succeed in the investing even as a beginner. Not everyone is investment expert, we understand that. And at the end of the presentation, I also want to introduce my upcoming online course. So my journey to become a financial advisor. So I came to Australia as an international student. I was born in China. So some of you might detect my accents. So I didn't learn good money management skills from my parents because they struggled on the earning and the spending treadmill. So after I came to Australia and studied at uni, I read Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad and Poor Dad. And this book really opened my eyes to the world of wealth and investing. So I borrowed $5,000 from my parents and invested in share markets. And after 12 months, I lost them all during the GFC. So $5,000 was lots of money back then for students. So I was devastated. And then I learned, I realized that I must learn before I can earn. So I've been to lots of different kind of investment seminars and read finance books and eventually become a financial advisor at the bank. So I started my career as a financial advisor in 2011 at NAB, and left the bank in 2019, at the end of the 2019, to help my clients on my own terms. And I started my own business beginning of the 2020, just before the pandemic. So in the last 13 plus years, I learned lots of things, and there were ups and downs, and I would like to share my experience I learned during the journey, and also my clients' stories and some technical skills to manage your money more effectively. Why is it so hard to save? So lots of us have zero net worth mindsets. So what that means? So if we make $1,000, we spend $1,000, nothing left over. So today I'd like to introduce two really effective strategies to save money. Start small and pay yourself first. So when I was working at the bank, I had a list client. So she was in her 50s and she was a doctor making $300,000 per year. So after we reviewed her situation and we decided let her save the $2,000 per month. So after 6 months, she felt overwhelmed and had to stop. So instead of completely stop saving, so we reduced the amount to the $500 per month. So that was more manageable for her, and she increased slowly over the next 2 years. So at the end of the day, she formed really good money management habits. When she came to see me, she had a really little savings, despite she made a really high income and also got really little assets. So don't be discouraged if you can only save $50 or $100 per month, and the key is to start. So it's like doing the exercise. I saw lots of people dive into the intense exercise and only to quit after a few weeks when they feel soreness and aches in their body. So if they start from 10 or 15 minutes light activities and slowly increase, it is more manageable. So same principles apply in investing. Start small, build momentum, and slowly increase your contribution over time.
That's such a great concept, Helen. I've, been telling you about my 7-minute workout that I've been doing every day. And then I built it up to do add arms, which is another 5 minutes. And I've been doing that now for a couple of years. And I jump out of bed. I don't have aches in my hips and my knees. Just be interested if everyone rates themselves out of 10, 10 being the perfect, a really good saver, like a 10. Where would you be in the savings? How would you rate yourself out of 10 as a saver? Just pop it in the chat box if you feel comfortable sharing that. Okay, back over to you.
Okay. And the second strategy can be pay yourself first. It's simple. You set up automatic transfer from your main accounts to other accounts every payday, and you save and invest first and spend what is left. And you allocate money to the 4 different kind of accounts: emergency fund account for unexpected expenses, and fund accounts for holidays and recreation, in investment account to grow your wealth, and retirement savings accounts. It mainly indicates superannuation in Australia. So start small and pay yourself first are really simple but effective saving strategies. And if you master this, and you can set yourself up for the success.
Out of interest, how many of you have buckets? If you have buckets already set up, I know that was a lifesaver for me to be able to turn. Not only did I have a fun account for me, but Simon had his own fun account because he's a spender and I'm a saver. So we had Simon's fun account, my fun account, then it stopped all the arguments. We had a holiday account, our emergency account. We had 3 months. Is that what you suggest? 3 months pay? Is that a good idea, or is that too much? Or is that just me?
I think 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months. So we had 3 months pay in there in case anything happened. So actually, and then what we had is that coming straight out of our pay check, and so we didn't see it. And all our other day-to-day, the household expenses was our main account, buying the groceries and doing those sorts of things. I actually went a little bit over the top and put another couple of buckets in there as well, but you can ask me about those later. My fun bucket is labeled champagne bucket. Oh, Anne, I love you so much. That's so cool.
Lots of people dreamed of investment were generate massive and quick returns. And when I first started as an investor, I felt the same way, but it doesn't really work that way. So I tell you a story of my friends. So he bought new cryptocurrencies a couple of years ago, and he invested $2,000. And after 2 years, the investment grew to $100,000, and he was so excited and told me he would like to buy house using that as a deposit. So I just warned him, make sure the cryptocurrency company pay out the money. And after 6 months, I asked him if he bought a house, and he said he hadn't. So he didn't really gets $100,000 and he only managed to get back his original $2,000. So cryptocurrency is really high risk investments and lacking intrinsic value. You can diversify some of your money in this type of investments, but you need to understand you only invest money you can afford to lose. Less risk, it's really high risk investments. And the shares. So I lost my $5,000 during the GFC in the stock market. So individual shares are not safe either. I learned from first-hand experience. And property. When it comes down to property, and lots of people think property is safe investments. But investment property also fluctuates in value during the lots of short period. And of course, it doesn't really go down to zero. So I met this couple last year. They are really highly educated couple with PhD degrees. And they invested in 1-bedroom units in Melbourne before COVID. And in the last few years, the value of the units dropped to almost $100,000, and it's negatively geared, and it's bleeding money. And they have to spend lots of money to hold this investment property, and they can't really sell because they are going to make a big loss. And fixed interest. Fixed interest is investments, is a money you lend to companies and governments, and you are getting regular interest. So it is conservative compared to shares and crypto and property. But it's really hard to keep up with inflation. That is one thing, but it is also not 100% safe either. So government increased interest rates dramatically in 2022 to control the inflation. So lots of fixed interest investors had negative returns during that period. So bonds, especially for the long duration bond, so bond price move inversely to interest rates. And cash is safe investments, but it doesn't really keep up with the inflation as eroding purchasing power. So it is a big risk holding a cash in a bank accounts.
So just to clarify there, Helen, fixed interest there that's what is often called bonds, the bond market.
Yeah,
right?
yes,
yeah. Okay, great. Okay, that's interesting. I've only just learnt about bonds recently because I noticed a lot of wealthy family offices were moving a lot of their wealth into bonds, fixed interest, and gold recently, I think, because of the
yes, they do, because the share market is really high, it's really expensive, and they try to control the risk. So lots of my clients' money also move from the shares and to the bond market for that reason. But we need to understand is bond is not really 100% safe either. So during the 2021, 2022, and we had a big minus in the fixed interest products, and some of them even -10 negative returns.
Yeah. Anyone who has a question, please pop it in the chat box. I'll keep an eye on that too as we go ahead. Excellent. We're flying through.
So today I want to introduce property and shares and managed fund and ETFs. They are the main investment options we're going to discuss today. So property investing. So in the last few years, we had a really good increase in property markets. So property investing become one of the most attractive investment options for lots of Australians. So I just want to understand the steps, 5 steps for you to become a successful property investor. So step 1 is understand your numbers and how much can you borrow. So understanding your borrowing capacity is the first step. So you can talk to a banker or mortgage broker about your borrowing capacity. And it's ideal for you to have a 20% deposit to avoid paying mortgage insurance, lender's mortgage insurance. And on the top of 20%, it's better you have at least 5% for the cost like stamp duty, legal cost, and borrowing cost. And step 2 is understand your financials. So your cash flow position, you need to understand your cash flow position before and after purchase. So I have these clients. She sold her big house in Brisbane South just before the COVID, and she bought the 3 investment properties during the COVID. And after they are all settled, she realized she need to pay at least $10,000 out of pockets to hold them. So her main financial goals is achieving financial freedom. And these investments doesn't help her achieve financial goals. It's move her away from her financial goals, not helping her. So you need to understand and ask yourself, can you afford, if rental income can't fully cover the loan repayments and the maintenance, insurance, and the management cost, and how much you need to pay out of your pockets every month to hold the investment property?
Yeah, there's so many hidden costs with property. We've got 3 investment properties, and there's land tax on them, there's insurances, there's maintenance, there's the interest rates, then there's, sometimes, your tenant might not be able to pay and they want a bit of a payment plan. So there's a lot of time around that. Or if you've got a property manager, your property manager, we've got one of our properties, the property manager makes most of the money out of that one. It's not as, it sounds great and they're in good capital growth areas. So we're doing okay now over the long haul, but the more I'm learning about other options, the more I'm seeing that probably if we'd had a more diversified portfolio earlier, we would probably be, our wealth would probably be even better. And it's not bad, and it's, we've done well, but I think if I'd known about other things, I probably would have diversified.
Yeah, property investing has its advantage, but also there are some other risks like a cost, and also entry cost is quite high. But it's not everyone can afford property investing. And step 3, do your due diligence and do your research. So there are 4 websites I can recommend and for you to do some research. So realestate.com.au and domain.com.au and onthehouse.com.au and secureresearch.com.au for vacancy research. So from your research, you can understand the median house price and the rental yield and also expected growth in that area. And also it's better to check a flood map and crime rates in that area. And I also suggest, if it's possible, you can visit the local area yourself. So ask around and talk to the locals and in the coffee shop, and had a feel about that area. And if you feel it's right, you can proceed. And if it's not, you can just move on.
The other thing that we do, Helen, is we always go and get in contact with the local council and find what development plans are around those areas. And what other things are coming up in terms of their investment in the local amenity, all those sorts of things. We have a property in Lindsay Street, and there is a warehouse opposite us. It's now on the market, and of course it's a massive development site. So we don't mind the idea that it's potentially going to have a high-rise block of apartments there, but it's definitely changed from being this cute little, turn of the century factory that would have been a great factory conversion, but I don't think the council is going to want a factory conversion. They're just going to want a big, massive block in there. So be aware.
Yeah, and everything is about supply and demand. So you need to think about where the money is going and where population is growing. And step 4 is structure of investment property. So lots of people holding investment property under their personal name or under joint name with their spouse. But there are other structures you also can consider. So you can hold investment property under SMSF, so which is a self-managed super funds, and also you can hold investment property under trust name. So holding investment property under SMSF is really complex strategy. So you'd better talk to a financial advisor before you make decision. And if you hold the investment property under trust, there are some benefits like asset protection and tax benefits. So if you are running a business or having a really high risk occupation, holding assets under trust name can safeguard your assets. And also you can distribute the income from the investment property to the lower tax rates beneficiaries and to reduce your tax liabilities in the trust. And step 4 is building your property investment team for the purchase. So once your offer is accepted, there's really a short time frame for you to organize everything. So it's better, you'd better be prepared. So if you have a mortgage broker and conveyancing lawyer and building and pest inspector and plumber, electrician, property manager and insurance broker for building insurance, and it's going to be much easier for you to organize everything within a short time period.
Good idea to talk to a mortgage broker before you actually buy and do a lot of your sums, and they're great. We have some amazing mortgage brokers in this community. So if you want an introduction to anyone, reach out to me. There's some very clever ladies in this community. Conveyancing. Gemma, do you guys do conveyancing? That piece, the settlements?
No, we do the conveyancing for administration of estates, so survivorship applications, transmission applications, but we outsource that to a third party that I use.
Yep. And likewise, we do have some amazing settlement agents and conveyancers in the community. So if you're looking for anyone in your local area, always think about Business Women Australia too, because we have so many. We have 20,000 women involved with this community one way or other around Australia. So we can always find you someone that's great.
And once you bought the first property, you can increase net property value by adding value like renovation. And then with that equity, you can use to buy second property and third properties. And then you can grow your wealth exponentially. Okay, share investing. It's really interesting to see shares and the men's fund, and unlike property, we can't really see them or touch them. So it's really hard to feel emotional connections to the shares and the men's fund. And if you want to have that kind of emotional connections, and you can see the products and services that business offers. So if you buy Apple shares, you are the part of the ownership of the Apple company. So do you like Apple products? Do you enjoy them? So liking their business and products can be a good starting point. So if you want to choose individual shares, you can find a stockbroker or open an online brokerage account. And you can do it with Major Bank, and you can link your accounts with your bank account to the online brokerage accounts. And you can buy shares and ETFs and even some men's fund. And of course, you also need to do research for the company financials on the company website or on the stock exchange websites. So you need to analyze revenue growth, profitability, earning per share, asset and liabilities in the balance sheet, and cash flow and debt positions for the financial efficiencies. So I know it's a lot of work to buy individual shares.
And the days of necessarily doing it through, obviously, the stockbroker is not always the way. Like sometimes it's good to just dabble a little bit if you have the funds. This is what I've done. I've just put bit of money aside, gone on to the stockbroking website that was attached to our bank, put a bit of money in there to learn a bit about the stock market, and that was great because it made me realise that my decisions aren't great. Three dailies laughing. Some of them have been okay. Can I just say the ones that have been influenced by my husband because he read something in the paper and he goes, oh, these would be great. And I'll go, oh, okay, maybe $500 or $1,000 in there. That's, you know, the minimum spend on some of those. But it's an interesting thing. It's this, you know, it's good to learn. It's good to fail early to realize there's more to it.
Yeah, you always learn from your mistakes.
And Gemma was saying she uses Raise, which feels like a nice baby step. Any thoughts about Raise? RAIZ. I'm using the one that was attached to the ANZ account originally, and then that's been separated. But anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Okay, so after you've done all the hard work, is it enough? Not really. So even if you've done everything right, so you've done solid research about the company financials and understood industry and competitors and the market cycle, you might still be wrong and lose money. Why is that? Because investment market doesn't really follow rules. So there are randomness and investors' emotions, such as greed and fears, impact investment market a lot. So predicting people's emotions on certain events is really challenging. It's really hard, and it will impact investment movement a lot. So I know it's as a new investor, it's really overwhelming. And is there any easier way for you to start investing? Then we talk about the main fund and ETFs. So main fund, most of the industry superannuation in Australia are main fund. And the main fund, your money will put together with other invested money and invest in diversified portfolio. And ETFs is a kind of main funds, but you can trade during the day, anytime. That's the main difference. So how to choose between main fund and ETFs? So if we look at the Vanguard High Growth Index Fund, which is main fund, and Vanguard High Growth ETFs, they are very similar. The underlying investments in the fund is very similar. So the only difference is, we can explain here. So when you look at the main fund and ETFs, you need to ask three questions. How often do you want to invest? So if you want to make a regular contribution in the funds, main fund normally charges buy sell cost, but ETFs will have a brokerage fee every time you trade. So if you make a regular contribution into your fund, ETF can be more expensive. So you need to compare the cost before you decide. And how much do you have to invest? So with the main fund, you can start at least $1,000, and with ETFs can be much smaller. So if you want to start small amounts, ETFs can be more convenient for you. And do you want to trade during the day? So with the ETFs, you can trade anytime during the day. And with the main fund, you only have one trading window each day.
Just on that too, correct me if I'm wrong, a managed fund has a team that's analysing and, you know, buying and selling inside the fund in terms of buckets of shares, whereas the exchange traded fund is sort of attached to what happens to the stock market. It's kind of connected to whether or not the exchange is trading as a fund.
Okay, so you are talking about the active management and passive management. Okay, so with the active management, with the managed fund, we also got the active managed ETFs. But for the ETFs, passive management is really common. So with the active management, the fund manager buy and sell shares. And because they are actively managed the fund, the fee is much more expensive. So if you just want to follow the markets, we call this kind of fund as an index fund. And lots of ETFs are passively managed, but there are some actively managed ETFs.
Okay. So just that's another thing to understand what type, what is the involvement in the decisions,
fund.
who are the teams, and what's the background of those teams that are making those decisions around the choices of the buying and selling inside the managed funds and the ETFs.
Yes, yeah.
Thanks, Helen. Thanks for letting me bog in all the time, but I'm learning too. I'm just checking if I'm got it right.
That's all right. So how to choose the right man's fund? Okay, I can explain more here. So you need to check the product disclosure statements. So every man's fund has a product disclosure statements. So in the product disclosure statement, you can see who created the fund, the fees and risk, and how they manage the fund, actively managed or passively managed, just follow the index. And you want to make sure that someone created the fund is reputable, not a few guys created the fund in the garage. That is very important. And when you look at the performance, it's better to look at the long-term performance, 5 to 10 years, not just last 12 months performance. And also you can use a Morningstar fund screen to do your research.
Oh, yes, I'll share that here to everybody.
And I can go to these websites and we can just quickly go through the research tool. Can you see the Morningstar websites?
Yep.
Can you see it?
No, well, you're just still seeing yours, so you might have to stop sharing that and jump out to that screen.
Okay.
Yeah, look, I love reading that Morningstar stuff. And I mean, it's a bit of a rabbit hole. You can lose a lot of time on it, but it's so interesting. And I, of course, love going in. I always go in and then end up wanting to see who's the team of inside those, so those areas, those businesses, what are their plans, like get really lost in their whole kind of marketing and business development strategy, which is very time consuming. But anyway, yeah.
Can you see the Morningstar websites?
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. And if you want to do some fund research and just type in fund name, we can have a look at the Vanguard here. So just to make sure is that I'm talking about the Vanguard a few times today. It is not a recommendation. It's just an example. So everyone's situation is different. So I can't really recommend any products at webinar. So if you go to the Vanguard High Growth Index Fund, and then you can see all the different kind of tabs, and you can just click performance, and you can see the performance in the last.
It's funny you've picked this one as an example. My son's just said to me yesterday he's putting some money in this. I'm just like looking at this going, could it really sustain that kind of growth for much longer? I mean, like I'm obviously getting too old.
So there are long-term performance and short-term performance, and you can track their performance, and also portfolio. Under the portfolio, there is asset allocation. So asset allocation can be a jargon for lots of people, and I can explain it later. So what is invested in the funds, in the properties or equities, or is it for the what kind of business is a small cap or large cap, or what kind of earnings, and also the fees. You can check everything. So it is a free tool, but if you want more detailed information, there's a paid version, and you need to pay a few $100 away per year, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's like anything, isn't it? The more educated and the more you really look and understand what you're investing in, the better chance you've got of reducing your risk. And Sharon's put in a great reminder in the chat box there to us all. So Sharon's a CFO, finance person as well. It's important to study the financial statements of the stocks you want to invest in. So important. And if you can't read financial statements, then you need to learn how to read those financial statements, which is good to learn as well. Thanks, Helen.
Okay, so how to succeed in investing even as a beginner. I don't know, it's today my room is a little clear. So, I'm going to share 3 tips today and for you to become a successful investor as a beginner and avoid the costly mistakes I made in the past. So diversification. So investing in the managed fund or ETFs definitely is investing in diversified portfolio. So today, diversification means you invest in different kind of assets or regions or markets or different type of investment management style. But today, I want to focus on one thing, diversify across timing. So what that means, dollar cost averaging. So you invest in your portfolio every week, fortnightly, or monthly.
Helen, we're still seeing the slide that says how to choose the right managed fund. Is that the correct slide that you're working off?
No, it's how to succeed in the investing even as a beginner. Just a moment here.
Yeah.
Stop sharing.
So you know, this is sort of coming to that heart of having a discipline around it and actually being focused on the long term. How many of you, just in your chat box, how many of you actually know what your super fund investments are? Have you had a look at, or have you just got the default? If you feel comfortable sharing in the chat box, if you've actively had a look and designed what you want in your super fund, which you can do. Default, Jaycee, yep. And Jaycee's nice and young. This is really great. I wish I'd had a mastermind like this when I was your age. Mine was on the default for ages too. And then young people really should potentially have it. I think, I mean, I'm not a financial advisor, is my disclaimer, but I think, you know, go for the growth ones when you're young because you'll drive through the cycles. Whereas for me, at the end of my career, I'm going more conservative now. Kelly's high growth. Yeah, good stuff. Gemma had an aggressive portfolio, but I don't know what I have. Okay. Yeah, no, it'd be interesting to know what you have. Super is one of the biggest vehicles you've got for building your wealth. This is great. We're looking at this, but don't forget to look at super too. Okay, over to you, Helen. We're seeing how to succeed in investing even as a beginner.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Okay, so diversification across the timing, we call it as a dollar cost averaging. So if you invest $1,000 every month into the managed fund or shares, okay, regardless of markets ups and downs, the first month you can purchase 20 or 50 shares or units with $20. So in second month, the share price is $15, and then you can purchase 66 units. And in third month, the share price is $10, and you can purchase 100 units. And in the fourth month, the share price rises a little bit, and with $15, and you can purchase 66 units. And in the fifth month, share price return to $20, and you can purchase 50 units. So during the 5 months, you can purchase 332 shares. So you can share price at the end of the 5 months, share price is $20, and then you can make $6,640. And if you just invest $5,000 upfront, you only can have $5,000. So $6,650 minus $5,000, you made actually $1,640. So it is the easiest way to invest in share markets. So we don't really know what is going to happen tomorrow. Share market will go up and down. So if you invest every month, every fortnight, or every week, and you can reduce the risk. And even if you have a lump sum to invest, you can spread risk like this. So it's really dollar cost average is really powerful tool to control the risk for investors. And buy your investments at discounts. So how people lose money in the investment markets. So when market rises, you might hear from your friends and family and how much money they make, and then you invest your money. And after a few weeks, a few months, and market started to drop, and you realize you are losing part of your investments. So, and if market keep dropping to the 40 or 50%, you can't hold on your investment anymore, and you sell your investments. And surely the market will rise again, and you are standing on the sidelines, realized the opportunity you might have had will be forever lost. That is how people lose money in the investment markets. They panic and they sell in the down markets. But lots of smart investors buy in the down markets. So ask yourself, when do you like go shopping? Do you want to buy stuff during on sale, or you want to pay full price, or you would like to pay a high price for the new arrivals? So lots of people want to buy things on sale. Investing is exactly the same. We call it as a Boxing Day sale for the shares and funds. And it covers every investment. And how soon the market will recover? Okay, so how long is it going to take normally? Sometimes it can take a few months, and sometimes it can take for years. So during the global financial crisis, market hit the bottom on March 2009. So S&P 500 dropped more than 50%, and it recovered until March 2013. It took years to recover. So that's why it's really important for you to understand your time frame of investing. So if you only invest 2 or 3 years, you can't really wait for the market to recover. Or if you are retiring very soon, you can't really wait. So that's why the right asset allocation is important when it comes to the investing. So right asset allocation, what's that mean? So you allocate your money into the defensive assets and growth assets. Defensive assets include cash and fixed interest, and growth assets include share and property. So if your time frame is short, you need to allocate more money in the defensive assets to control the risk. And if your time frame is quite long, like 10 years plus, you can put more money in the growth assets.
Anne has asked a question,
Yes.
Helen, when do you know when to hold and when to sell?
Okay, that's a $1 million question. So, okay, normally if it's a diversified portfolio, and when market go down, we buy in. That's normally what we do. But if it's individual shares, you have to be really careful. Sometimes the shares price may not recover or completely go bust. That's why diversification is so important. So it's a diversified portfolio. If you invest in 300 or 500 different company shares, market go down doesn't really affect you. It's just a paper loss. So if market go down, it's a time for you to buy in for the diversified portfolio. But it's individual shares, you will never know it's going to recover or go bust.
Yeah.
Have I answered your question, Anne?
The other side of it too, Anne, is to think about your overall tax strategy. So I know for a fact that if we've got a high tax bill and we've got a share that we've fallen out of love with and we've sort of recognised the management's hopeless and it's not going to go anywhere, we will sometimes even sell that share and carry that loss then, and we'll get the tax loss on it. So it really is horses for courses, what's going on with your overall strategy as well. You know, that's the other thing. But that usually when shares are down, that's not the time to sell.
Yeah, I've had some sitting there for a while. So, yeah, I'll speak to my financial planner about getting rid of them.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, back over. So sorry, Michelle's had to take an urgent call, but she'll said thank you, and we'll make sure she's got the recording. Over to you, Helen.
Okay, so secret of successful investing. So today we mentioned about diversification with the index fund and ETFs, and also invest when prices are low, Boxing Day sales strategies, and also understand your risk and asset allocation. They are the main secrets for the successful investing. And compound interest. So there are two friends, John and Peter. And John started his investing since age 19, and he invested $500 per month, which is $6,000 per year. And assuming investment returns is 9% per year and compounding monthly. So John started his investing at age 19 and he stopped investing at age 27 because he got married and he got lots of commitments. So after age 27, he hasn't added any money. And Peter started investing at the age 27 and keep adding $500 per month until age 67. So after 40 years, for John, it's more than 40 years. So John, when they both become age 67, John's investments ended up more than 2.7 million, and Peter's investment grew to only 2.1 million, despite he added money every month for 40 years. So it is the power of compound interest.
I've added the calculator there to the chat box as well, so that you've all got a copy of that link for the Money Smart Compound Interest Calculator. Helen introduced that to me years ago, and I find it so useful. And yes, I've given all my kids access to it to understand, because obviously they've got time on their side, and even if whenever they can do it, don't worry about the fact that, you know, you might be getting a mortgage next year or whatever it might be. Just start now. And even if you start, the earlier you start, the better.
Yeah, just play around with the calculator and play with numbers and put the numbers you would like to invest every month, and to see the outcomes after 10 years or 20 years and 30 years, even 40 years, if you're young enough. That's really great motivation for lots of people. So I'm not going to go through the calculator again today, but here you can play around with it by yourself. Okay, 3 tax-free environments. Tax and death are 2 certainties in life. And in the last 13 plus years, I assisted lots of people and more than 1,000 clients. I've met more than 1,000 clients, and no one wants to pay more tax than they need to. So today we need to talk about 3 tax-free environments. The first one, in individual tax-free threshold in $18,200 apply to everyone. And if we are still working and it doesn't really make much sense. And the pension phase, those superannuation, so tax-free up to 1.9 million per person at age 60. So what's that mean? So you contribute into your superannuation over the many years, and when you retire, you can move this superannuation to the pension phase. And in that environment, all the investment returns can be tax-free, and income stream from the investments also tax-free up to 1.9 million per person. And for the couple, it's 3.8 million. It's a huge advantage for lots of people. So lots of affluent clients come to see financial advisor. And we do this strategy. And at the end of the day, they accumulated millions of dollars in the investable assets, but they pay nothing for tax. And investment and insurance bond. So if you hold investment insurance bond for 10 years, after 10 years, it's going to be tax-free when you sell it. So tax-free environment, the 1 to 9 million investment balance in the superannuation and the pension phase. So if you got 1.9 million in your superannuation and when you retire and at age 60, you can move to the pension phase. This 1.9 million, all the investment returns can be tax-free and income stream from the pension account can be tax-free. And if you keep working, and it can be tax-free at age 65. Okay, there is a case study for David. So David is 63 and he's a self-funded retiree with a superannuation balance of 1.8 million. And he owns his own home and one investment property, which generates net rental income of $17,000 per year. So after retiring from his work, his financial advisor, which is me, and recommended transferring his superannuation balance into the account-based pension. So David is invested in a balanced portfolio that generates an annual return between 7 to 8%. And he withdraws 4% every year, which is $72,000 to fund his lifestyle. So with his rental income, $17,000 per year from his investment property, and plus $72,000 withdrawal from the pension accounts, he's enjoying counter retirements for the annual income $89,000 and is completely tax-free. So investment insurance bond, maybe it's for lots of people, it's a new concept. So this product is not necessarily invested into the fixed interest or bond, it's just name and it's a structure. So you pay up to 30% tax for 10 years in that environment, and then it's become tax-free. So you can invest up to 125% of previous year's investments. So there's a case study for young couple. So Lee and Zheng, both IT professionals in their 30s, and they are earning a combined household income of $380,000 per year. And they want to achieve financial freedom in the next 15 years. And their financial advisor recommended investing $5,000 per month into an investment bond. And for the first 10 years, they pay up to 30% tax on the investment earnings, which is lower than their marginal tax rates. But after 10 years, the investment becomes tax-free, and assuming an annual return of 9% from the investments, their portfolio will grow to approximately 1.9 million within 15 years. So with this money, they will have a freedom to work for passion or fulfillment rather than just paying the bills.
Interesting. You always bring something new to the table. Interesting.
So investment bond and superannuation, and they are both good tax-effective investment strategies. And when you look at the investment bonds, your investment returns pay up to 30% tax, and with the superannuation is a 15% tax. Now, if you're under age 60, and after 10 years, investment bond is tax-free, and your superannuation is tax-free after age 60 and retired. If you keep working, it's going to be age 65. And there's a limitation, there's always limitations. So with investment bond, annual contribution should be 125% of last year's investments. And there's no cap of how much we can accumulate. But with your superannuation, it's capped within 1.9 million. So when you look at these two products, and if you're over age 50, I would like to recommend, or of course, we need to look at your situation closely. For someone who's close to retirement age, superannuation can give you better tax benefits. And if you still have another 20 years or 30 years to go from retirement, you can't put all your money in your superannuation because you can't access. So investment bond can be one of the tax effective investment vehicle for you to look at. Okay, so online course. So I created this online course, and I created the mini course, and this one is the second one, and Think and Grow Rich. So I like Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. So I just stole his title.
You be careful with that. Trademarks 101, IP lawyer might have a chat to you about that, but anyway, see how long you go.
Okay, so it's last year I attended investment masterclass and learned one really surprising, it's the statistics. So for me, I have been talking about financial freedom for years, and I found 74% people are after financial security, and only 26% are seeking for financial freedom. Especially those with the debts, their financial security is their main goal to achieve. So today we talk about a little bit how to save your money and also investment options and how to be a successful investor. So, but there are other elements you also need to look at to be financially secure. So risk management. So I saw some people had a really good life. So they had an investment and decent lifestyle, but they lost them all after they lost their capacity from to earn the income from illness. So to cover treatment costs, they used all their savings and sold their investment portfolio. And at the end of the day, they also sold their house and car just because they haven't set up properly. So your earning capacity is your biggest assets, not your house, not your car, and not your investment property. So you need to protect your earning capacity. It's the first step of your financial security. And estate planning. Lots of young people don't really want to talk about death, but the reality is everyone is going to die one day. And I saw some people fight over the legacy, and at the end of the day, most of their money just go to the lawyers' pockets, and you don't even want to let happen to your legacy. So it's better, how to pass your legacy to the next generation and set it up properly. And you also don't want the government distribute your assets based on their rules, not your wish.
That's so true. I know Gemma Caldwell's on the call. She's in estate planning. She's involved heavily in a lot of estate litigation between, family members where wills are being contested or they haven't been written. So if any of you don't have a will, no matter how young or old you are, you've all got superannuation potentially. And even if you're in the beginning of your journey, make sure that you've got a will in place and have a chat to Gemma. Or, if there's someone in your local area who's an estate planner. Helen's got estate planners in Brisbane as well. So important. I think 30% of people in Australia have a will. That means 70% of people don't have one.
And also, even I mentioned with my clients, and they never put it as a priority list. And I keep asking, have you done your will? And every time they come to see me, and at the end of the day, they just don't really have option, and they have to do. So estate planning is also part of the plan, and debt management. That is a future income you spend today. So that can help you build a great wealth and also sometimes can destroy your wealth. So I saw one client have a credit card that's $10,000, which she's paying 20% interest rates, but she got savings, $30,000 in her saving account, which paying her 5% interest rates. So which is really interesting to see. So how people manage their debts. So that some people, smart investors, use debts as a vehicle to build wealth. So they buy investment property, and they also do some margin lendings, and there are lots of strategies you can play with debts and to build your wealth. And structuring. So for lots of people, structuring is really unfamiliar topic. So you can hold your investments under your name or spouse name jointly. Also, you can hold under SMSF and superannuation and investment bond. And I showed all the examples today. And to reduce your tax liability sometimes to zero. And also you can protect your assets in the right structure. So in my online course, I'm going to explain all of them in detail. So what you get in this course? So a step-by-step framework for achieving financial security and freedom, and access to calculators and forms and checklists and action steps, and a finance plan templates for immediate implementation. So when I break down the value, so we understand not everyone is ready to seek finance advice, but lots of people need guidance, and with the right guidance, they can take action immediately. But the finance advice is expensive these days. We need to admit that. So strategies for financial security and freedom is worth $5,500. And tools and resources for implementation is worth $3,300. And financial plan templates is worth $2,200. And the total value is $11,000. And with this course, I will have a special offer, and regular price is $595. And for the today's attendees, is $297 only.
That's fantastic, Helen. And, you know, I'll just pop this little link up there. There's the course there. The other thing about it too is that after that course, you might want to, you know, organise to have a one-on-one mentoring session with Helen. I think for me, Simon and I have a financial planner, and they recently did a financial plan for us, looking at our transition to retirement, and we're actually going to engage Helen to do a due diligence, a second opinion on it. It's that important. And I think that you know, there are lots of different approaches to this, and one of the biggest ways of getting educated is to having a good planner that you can toss ideas around with, but to actually understand. Don't just hand it over and lock it and leave it with them. Really try and understand the journey. So find a guide and a mentor, you know, a certified financial planner who will help you walk that journey and be empowered and build your own financial literacy. I've done the first online course, the little toe dip course that Helen created last year, which I thought was fantastic. And is this the same course that I did, Helen, or is this?
No, it's a second course.
This is a
second course. Yeah, second course, and I've almost finished and 80%, and I will launch this course at the end of this month or beginning of the next month.
Okay, that's brilliant, because you know, I've encouraged my family all to do the online course as well, and then out of that we then have roundtable discussions, because they'll have different perspectives or different ideas and different levels of learning and understanding. So you know, I grew up in a family that just didn't talk about money. And I had, you know, when my dad died when I was 16, my mum had no idea. She'd run a business, and she'd, you know, bought and sold all these beautiful clothes, you know, in a fashion boutique. But my dad had the accounting background and had done all the money, all the investing, all the finance stuff. and, you know, being typical, you know, man of that generation, looked after his wife so beautifully, including bringing her a cup of tea and Vegemite toast for breakfast before she got out of bed. But when he died, she had no idea about how to invest or how to look after, you know, the money. So I really highly recommend you bring everyone that you care about on the journey with you, and learn as much as you can yourself as well. Are there any questions while we've got everyone online? Is there anything further on this, Helen, that you would like to finish up with?
Yeah, I'm almost finishing, and there's a 30-day money back guarantee. And if you're not happy with the cost, and definitely we can give your money back within 30 days. So there's no risk. So yeah. So I know it's finance is hard and confusing. And when I first invested my money, and I lost some money in the investment market, and I was really frustrated, and yeah, it was sad. But it's you must learn before you can earn. So regardless of if you have a financial advisor or not, I think it's better for you to understand your finance and your investments, and also plan your journey ahead, not just rely on somebody else. And we lots of people live paycheck to paycheck, and the good thing is your money will come back after every month, but your time doesn't. And we saw all Peter's and John's a case study from the compound interest. And if you start early, you can arrive your destination early. That is my advice. Yeah.
The earlier you do it, the better. That's brilliant advice. Thank you so much, Helen. And a great pace that you've taken us through this. I know that there's so many layers and so much you can cover. Every time we have you online for these masterminds and webinars, we really do learn so much. And for you to spend the time to bring these sort of financial planning foundations to women and to make it accessible and a reasonable price, I'm just so grateful to you, because I know it's one of the big issues that we face. When we did our survey right 10 years ago around the nation about one of the things that women were worrying women, it was the financial literacy piece, and yet it's the hardest one to get people to turn up to and to learn about. So well done, ladies. For those of you who not only registered but turned up and are here and learning, it's just wonderful. And for those of you who've shared honestly your own journeys and the things that you're doing, you know, starting with the savings piece, learning how to save and structuring it so you don't even realize that's what you're doing, is one of the best and earliest things you can start on that financial journey. So thank you, Helen. And thank you, ladies, for being here. I'm going to stay online for a few minutes just as we finish up, but I will say goodbye and stop our recording now.